大学嘛，我们学生基本上都是大学生啊。那大学生看起来我们从太阳花学院里面看到学生好像非常的积极这样子啊，但是他们那个积极是建立在某种在台湾独特的一种情感上面被激发出来的。也就是说，台湾跟比如说跟纽西兰签自由贸易的签那个贸易协定的时候，对，其实并没有引起那么大的一个抗争的行动，但是跟大陆却有啊。那所以我们先不管这种比较独特性的台湾的这种东西啊。那我想问的是说，我现在看到大学生其实并没有外面大家想象说这么的太阳花其实他们的未来只有在 FB 上面。他们不会做梦，他们只会做怪如果你看网络上流行的用冷水洗那种叫什么渐冻人，有没有？他们会去做，但是他们是不会有自己的规划，他们跟社会是脱节的，好像浮萍一样。那我自己在学校有做一些事情，但是我很想知道说，请那个Dada他们来做这个分享，在让年轻人，我们知道年轻人是最有理想的。爸爸在新人道主义的文集里面曾经读过，年轻人是最有理想、最有行动力的一群。那但是呢，他们的理想却不见了。我们的社会呢，从小小孩子都最有好奇心，一到越来越大之后呢，好奇心就都不见了。所以我不知道呢，在国外呢还有什么做法可以提出来给我们做参考。那班要不要走过来？
你可以直接说吧。
那个大家，你看也有只听英文的人啊，所以你可能要告诉
整体翻译。不好意思。
Now this question is kind of because recently something happened in our society. It's kind of started by the students in the university. So some people have some kind of illusion that our students are very independent and they have their own thoughts. But according to his experience in teaching in the university, it's not real. He said they small group, because they have some kind of emotion to something, especially for the Taiwan or a little bit political part. But most students actually, according to his experience teaching in the university, is not real. His experience reveals that most students in the university, they don't really have an imagination. They don't have an idea. Yeah. And so how to inspire our students, our young people, how to, because they are even competitive, not like most people think about college students. So you really ask for both of your suggestion how we can help our students, our young people, to be more creative, to be more independent, have their own thoughts.
And make connection with society. Make connection.
They are not related to our society.
But it's interesting because the reason why I'm in Taiwan is I'm working on as a research fellow with between Tampang University and NTU, looking at how to bring futures thinking, that's code for imagination but practical imagination, into the engineering curriculum.
那现在提出这个问题呢，还蛮有趣的，因为这跟我现在在台湾呢，还是真的有关系。我为什么会来台湾呢？是因为我来台湾呢做一个最上研究，那是台湾大学，在淡江大学做一个研究。那这个研究是跟如何有一个未来的 future thinking， 对未来如果未来的思考，
Can you say future in plural? Futures? It's my research now. It's my research.
然后但是我谈的不是只是哲学，就是实践，就跟我现在做的研究领域是有关系的。
See, and the first thing is to deal with this question of, and even in English, it's very hard for people to think of futures with an S at the end, plural. More than one future?
Yeah.
How can it be more than one future? Or how can it be the future at all? Because it doesn't yet exist, does it? Does the future exist? If so, where?
我觉得他提出一个非常棒，他说，其实是英文字这个字哈 ，future 这个字，那 future 我们有加 s 吗？它有没有复数？有没有所谓两个未来，还是只有一个未来？因为未来根本就还没出现，它还不存在，所以到底未来它是一个还是多数？啊，这就是已经是我们可以来思考的问题了。
But the simple answer is that the future exists in each and every one of us.
那事实上呢，最简单的一个回答就是，所谓的未来，它其实就在存在我们每个人心中啊，每一个人都有他所认知、他所想的未来。
And the logical extension of that is because there are 7 point whatever billion of us on the planet, there are 7 billion futures on the planet.
那就逻辑上来讲啊，因为有70亿个星体，是不是？就是那这样的话，就可能就假设一个星球只有一个未来的话，那有那么多个星球，几十亿个星球的话，它是不是有几十亿个未来？
And if you think that's bad, wait for this. Not only are there many futures, there are also many histories.
而且呢，不只是有很多的未来，它还有很多的过去的历史。
So it means the very first thing that we need to do, but that we fail to do in every level of education, is to teach the emotional ability to handle complex situations, complexity.
所以呢，其实我们要怎么样去教育这个每一个不同阶段的孩子？我们可能是要先让他们有办法，就是去面对这个这么复杂的整个这完全不同的这样的一个情感上面的整个你看有这么多所谓的现实历史是什么，然后未来是什么？那当我们的孩子在不同的时候他去面对这么样多的说法，这么多的看法的时候，他的情感上要怎么去整合这样的状况？
So because our education system focuses on right answers or the correct answer, it doesn't allow for complexity.
因为我们的教育就是跟着我们原来已经设计好这个课程在走，所以它造成我们没有这个能力去面对这样子一个复杂的状况来做整合，在我们就在情感面就已经没有办法。
It seeks to manage complexity by creating experts. Seeks to manage it, control complexity by creating experts.
因为我们这些状况都是被一些所谓的专家所布置。
But when complexity is on the rise, we see 2 things happen, at least 2 things. One is that we have a rise of fundamentalisms and violence, and also we have a rise in the general public of pessimism, or loss of hope. So the first one is fundamentalisms and violence. We have people becoming fundamentalists because that's secure. Or people lose their sense of being able to change the world, so they lose hope.
那第一个就是说，因为我们很多是来自于基本就是怎么说，基础上基本上的架构，就是我们我们已经被制约了，过去啦，或者说一些所谓的专家被制约住，所以我们也就失去了对未来的一些希望和想象。
So to try. I don't want to answer your question because that would be presumptuous, and also would close down all alternatives, which we don't want to do. But to address your question, I would say that people, students, but others as well, are looking for alternatives, and they've seen enough models now of rebellion. You know, they've seen Tahrir Square, the Arab Spring, the Occupy Wall Street. Students see these things, and they see that, yes, they want to get rid of what's now. They want to challenge it in some way. Okay? But they have no idea what they want to replace it with. That was probably Wall Street. Lots of studies on that. No one knew what they wanted in a coherent way beyond that, other than they wanted change. Tahrir Square, they get rid of all these dictators and stuff. What do they get back? So there's this longing, which is understandable at a psychosocial level. Kraut actually puts a lot of thought into that kind of thing. But the longing, we don't have any imaginative resources yet to go beyond that horizon line of discontent. They have discontent, so they will look like they've been protesters and out there, and now Taiwan suddenly got a whole bunch of students out there who are thinkers and independent and courageous. They may be courageous, they may be idealistic, but they also are very lost. That was a lot.
我不想回答你的问题啊，因为如果回答，那其实就是成为所谓的专家会给你的答案。我想大家都在寻求所谓的选择，有各种不同的 alternative， 各种的可能性。那所以我们的孩子虽然可能上街去抗议啦，然后主张很多事情或抗议事情，可是他们也没有办法真的提出什么，或是超越提出什么替代方案，或者是超越。那甚至他们也不是自己。那谁也补充？超越自己。差不多了。
Good. Ellie, good. Yeah.
我们没有一些方法去教现在的小孩怎么去想象未来，所以他们有一点迷思。
所以到目前为止，我们还没有很有效的方法来教育我们孩子怎么样，就是像刚刚提出的这个问题，我还没有一个好的答案来回避这个问题。
I think we also need to go back into understanding the human psychology. And there is a horizontal dimension and then there is a vertical dimension to human psychology. We are born, as I said in the morning, and we are going to die after 50 years, 100 years, 120 years. Okay? So each one comes with a certain potentiality and certain aspiration, certain level of evolution, certain level of development, and they want to reach somewhere. Some people are aware of it and many people are not aware of it. What is the destination? So in the yogic philosophy, we present a vertical future idea that we have one level of our development is this physical dimension, this crude dimension. We live in this physical body and we need to eat, we need shelter, we need education, we need medical care and all these amenities of life, basic comforts of life. But they are all related to the body. They are all related to our, physical needs. But then we have mind, the creativity of the mind, the potentialities of the mind, the longings, So this is the psychological dimension. But then there is something which is beyond the psychic dimension, which is the spiritual dimension. So we are evolving from the physical to the psychic to the spiritual. Now, if we are conscious that there is, most of the people are not even conscious there is a spiritual dimension. It's something even the scientists don't even accept there is a spiritual dimension. It's just spirit or consciousness is only an emergent property of the brain. You have all these brain cells, and even the mind is not accepted within the realm of science. They say it's only brain. There is nothing like mind. Mind is an emergent property of the brain. It's not really a separate entity. So within the modern scientific paradigm, which is highly materialistic, mechanistic, and very limited to explain the very purpose of existence and purpose of life, there is a problem, and people are lost, and there is, and many people go into depression, and they go into, it's a lot of psychological problems come. Of course, so I think there is, we need a way of thinking which allows for the expression of human creativity, but does not allow them to get lost, human mind to get lost. It has a sense of purpose. Because howsoever the mind may be, developed it might be, it is not, the ultimate. It is only one phase of our evolution. There is a level of evolution which is beyond mind, which is the higher dimension, the emotion and the spirituality and all that. So I think we need to have a philosophy or a way of thinking or a paradigm which blends the physical needs, physical longings, the need for psychic expression, potentialities, to utilize them for the betterment of all, and a purpose and a goal which is something transcendental. And I think that gives a pathway to the young generation as well as to the whole humanity to have peace and tranquility, at the same time, to have renaissance and creativity and do things which are, people want to realize here. That's what I think the whole crowd and Neohumanism and Tantra, that is what it provides. It provides very happy blending of fulfillment of material needs, development of psychic potentialities, and yet a detachment from all of that and experiencing the bliss and peace and happiness which is innate in all of us.
那我尝试翻译，就是说总结，就是他主要的，他在讲就是说，其实我们有这么多的所谓的问题和迷失啊，都是因为我们建立在我，都是在这个我这个物体这个身体上面的我，所以我们在乎的讲的，你看很多的就是我的医疗啊怎么样啊，然后我都是比较是专注在我这个身体方面的层面。那如果这样的话，当然就会发生很多也是包括忧郁啊这些，就心理上的问题也会出现。可是事实上呢，并不是只有这个身体，所谓的我不是只有这个身体而已，还有心理上的，甚至是灵性上的。那我们如果在教育孩子的时候，我们把它带广，除了你对你这个所谓在这个物质世界，因为我们其实人就是不断的生死，那一代又一代来的孩子呢，他们有他们自己的要带来的问题，他们要面对的状况。当然，我们希望能够给他们创造力，让他们去发挥，去经验。可是我们也不要他们就是迷失了。那我们怎么带给他们？我们应该给他们的给孩子们的方向是，我们不是只有这个身体肉体的存在而已，我们还有心理上的，是灵性上的。那怎么样让带领孩子到走向这个心理和灵性上面这个层面呢？可能就是 刚刚问的这个问题能够它的解答的一个方向。那所以像我们今天介绍 prompt 啦，介绍这些绕主，这些甚至呢，我们所谓密宗上面的修行啊，在灵性上面都是我们认为能够来解决我们现在人类甚至是将来这个人类宇宙会发生的这些问题，把我们人怎么样能够从我们这个肉体层次来解脱，不是因为我们的问题不是只有这辈子要去面对的这些，那才会生生世世的在。那这个问题不是只是肉体层面而已，所以当然他提出的就是我们要往心灵的，甚至是灵性上面的这条路来指引我们的孩子。
尝试问一个问题啊，因为最近就是接触了很多人嘛，那我们可以看到，就是说很多的朋友，他们会受到很多外在的环境影响到，比如说我们从比较大的就是从政治面，从总统啊，从那个立法委员，这整个都出了问题，还包括财团去掌控了整个台湾的问题啊，这是比较大的。另外一个比较小的就是说，我在学校里面，我是一个小小的老师，可是呢，我们学校的校长呢就丢了一大堆事情给我们做，然后把我们搞到这样的精神疲累，然后我就没有办法去面对我的孩子。然后另外可能我面对的是我是一个家长，我面对我的孩子很多的问题，然后职场上面有很多的状况，所以我这个人我可能在受到政治上的一些运作，然后外在环境弄得自己神经错乱了，然后在学校里面呢，可能是一个老师，然后被校长整个七荤八素的。那我是一个家长，我可能在职场上为了赚钱，然后已经很累了，回到家里又要面对我的孩子一些抗争什么。那这样一个人，他应该怎么样去面对他自己的环境啊？就是说，他面对这样一个这么错乱混乱的环境，他应该怎么样去思考他怎么解决他外在的问题？还是说根本像达刚才讲的，外在的问题根本永远不可能解决，他的困难就是每一代都要去面对他的问题，所以根本应该解决不是外在的问题，是自我内在的问题。
My question is, recently I met many friends, many people, and one of them is the common question or problem, like the world zone is political, financial, and economic, and everything. And as an individual, I have to face my working relationship, and as a parent, I have a role to play a father or a mother, and also how to see the problems in the world. Shall we try to resolve it, or there's so many complicated problems happen, and how to face? It feels so chaotic and so. Yeah.
You want to? Yeah.
So this question is like, shall we focus on how to resolve the problems happening in the world, or just like Dada said, we just focus on ourselves? Do our sadhana, take our internal situation, do things like that. And Dada wants to answer first.
Also, in reply to the first question, it is more and more obvious that human beings all over the world are awakening to the need for a new world.
但我现在的回答也同样要回应刚刚那个问题啊。我们现在已经发现了越来越明显的，我们人类哦，在世界上我们已经在渴望一个新的世界产生。
So the antithesis to the prevailing thesis is growing greater and greater. The antithesis means that the opposing force to the current vision and view of the world, that opposing force, which is dissatisfied, which is not fulfilled. Dissatisfaction is growing in Taiwan, in the United States, in England, in Hong Kong, wherever we have seen recent movements of social protest. It is a clear indication that the current system needs drastic change.
那我们在世界各地啊，看到台湾啊、美国啊，各地方都在发生很多的所谓的抗争活动。这些现象也都足以告诉我们其实是对现在的世界是非常不满意的。那我们就是在期待一个新的状况、新的秩序的建设。
And what Marga mentioned, and what Dada also mentioned, the results of this are hopelessness or extremism in religious belief, or a general, feel like there's no answer because the materialistic way of looking at things does not fulfill the deeper.
那就像刚刚达佩Marga教授说的，越来越多我们对新世界的这个困扰是没有办法从这个物质世界去找到一个解答，找到解决的方案。
We are in the process of bringing the change. That's what our life is about. And we ourselves must, how do I say, we are the pioneers. So as long as, I think, as long as we remain inspired with our practices and with our togetherness, it's like what Tom was saying, when the candle touches the other candle, it lights. And so that's our job. And there's an urgency, and Baba had the urgency, and we are feeling the urgency. Because as long as the great ideas of Ananda Marga and proud Neohumanism are not disseminated in the society, there's every chance a vacuum will be filled up by something more negative than what we have.
其实我们每一个人都在这个变革、这个改变的过程中，我们每个人也都让我们看得到。就像早上老师说的一样，每个人都要去牺牲自己，燃烧自己去照亮这个世界中的标准。所以，对，本来是。
As long as the ideas of proud Neohumanism are not broadly spread in the world, then there will be a vacuum, and that will be filled up by something which is not maybe less healthy than what we have today.
所以这是我们上师，其实在我们阿南达马家的上师，就刚刚介绍的萨卡先生啊，他们提出的抱着这些新人道主义，怎么样把它能够推广到全世界每个地方？那我们每一个人呢，都在这个过程，我们都这样去实践它。这可能就是我们的，这就是我们马家提出来的理念和原则。
So the sooner we can set up living models of our teachings, as Manarajan was saying, the sooner we can show the living models, the more believable our movement will be, and the more people will join us.
那我们的上师爸爸呢，他也曾经呼吁过说，其实要做这个变革是很急切的，我们要非常努力，要赶快去做。越早我们能够去建立所谓的，比如说像Marga他所提出来的这个教育的体系，我们能够越早去实践呢，我们就越早能够影响更多的人来做对这个社会，就是对我们整个社会的一个改变，就越能够早点建立这种所有的事，我们能够满意的完成生活。
So whether it's Neohumanism, or it's proud, or it's Rawa, or it's yoga, or meditation, or PCAP, whatever platforms Baba has given us, we have to use them to try to bring people into a new vision of the world.
所以其实我们爸爸呢，他已经给我们很多的平台了， 包括新人道主义，包括克劳泽，包括瑜伽，然后包括拉瓦就文艺复兴，我们的文艺的活动，这些等等，其实包括早就都已经把这些平台建立，已经告诉我们。那问题在于我们怎么样去实践它？我们每一个人都要去实践，都要能够去做。那只要我们能够去做这个所谓我们希望的完美的生活，它才能出现。
What is the malady? What is the problem? Root of the problem. If you can imagine human civilization like a tree, I have an image in the morning I did not show. And if you cut the tree from its roots, just cut the roots. After some time you find all the branches become dry and slowly the whole tree begins to fall apart. That is what is happening with the human civilization today. We have cut the spiritual root and we are expecting the tree to live and be happy and give us fruits. It's not getting fruits, it's not getting love, it's not getting any joy, it's not giving us anything. And people are struggling to survive. When 1% of the population controls more than 50% of the wealth of the whole world, why people are
99%.
Yeah. So naturally, there is a problem there. So what is needed is to connect human life to its roots, which is what is the spiritual paradigm. That is the difference between the current paradigm and what we are bringing, through our philosophy, through our practices, is the spiritual paradigm. How to link our heart to the universal consciousness, how to connect, how to create an empathic civilization, how to create a spiritually based society. That can only happen when what has been cut off, again reignited, reunited. And when it happens in every heart, when it happens in every mind, when it happens in every soul, then gradually the power of the infinite makes it possible to bring massive changes in society. It's not a problem to fix up this world. It's a small planet and it can be fixed up. It needs the strength of mind, the determination to face the obstacles. But that can only come if we connect ourselves to the roots. And there are, Baba tried to do it and he was put in prison for 8 years. So it's not an easy job, to oppose it. To establish proud is not easy because the very one principle of proud, which is based on aparigraha, means no individual should be allowed to accumulate any physical wealth without the clear permission or approval of the collective body. Means our principle of aparigraha is that we should take what we need for our physical existence, for maintenance of our family, and utilize the rest for the society, for our rest of the society. Linking up with the moral values, the moral firmament of the society, with the social problem. So it brings us back to the basic principles of Jama and Niyama, which Mr. Tang mentioned in the morning. It's very simple. If everybody follows it, then there is no problem in society. But we are not ready to follow it, and that's why there are many problems. So we have to understand what is it that we need to follow. We need to follow a certain moral principles in our life if we want peace and happiness, both individually and collectively. And we need to raise our consciousness so that we are aware of the collective needs of the environment, of the whole civilization, as well as our needs. So I think it is to deeply grasp what is the malady. The malady is lack of spirituality in our lives, lack of compassion in our lives, lack of sustainability in our lives. That's why in the Gurukula Neohumanist education, we made these two things as the pillar of our education system. Inner ecology, to nurture compassion, and to culture empathy, to culture spirituality, to culture, expansion of our consciousness, and outer ecology, which is to bring our life in harmony with the, with nature. Because in nature there is abundance. So if you live in harmony with nature, then abundance comes into our life. So I think it is too much to write.
家的马奇应该就是大家更多了解，大家在熟悉。那我简单的再说一下，就是说，那他说他早上就可以想象，其实就像一棵树一样，如果说把根切掉之后，慢慢我们就会发现，那树上的枝芽、叶子就已经是整个就枯萎就散掉。所以我们最重要就是要找到为什么是我们，就是我们的灵性。我们是整个世界出了问题，就是我们跟我们的灵性有关于灵性的层面能够已经脱节了。我们的个体想要怎么跟大宇宙连接？怎么样去找回我们跟整个大宇宙和我们跟所有的个体之间的连接？这是最重要的事情。那所以其实说起来也没有那么困难，就是很简单。有一些包括他早就告诉我们，我们要去遵循的法则，我们有没有遵循？如果我们每一个人都去遵循，譬如说内外在行为控制，那还有什么问题？社会上还有什么？如果每一个人都是内外在行为控制都做得很好，社会怎么会出问题？所以其实是我们自己要先从方法给我们的指导，就我们上司他给了我们很多的平台，他给我们个人的一个修持的方法。我们从我们个人的修持方法，我们每一个人就从自己开始做起，然后我们就会跟整个集体连接，会跟整个大宇宙连接。那爸爸也曾经说过，所谓宇宙跟世界的改变，它会是忽然之间，因为我们一个一个人带领更多的人进来我们马家，然后学习爸爸教给我们的这些我们灵性修持的方法，让我们能够来面对我们现在所谓的物质世界发生的问题，然后如何去跟现在的这个世界，在我们内在跟外在都能够合适。那不然可能在一夕之间，也不是一夕，就是刚刚他曾经讲过，其实这个宇宙这个世界会忽然有一个重大的就改变了，因为当这些力量，当所有的个体会慢慢的成长，连接在一起的时候，我们会有一个重大的改变就出来。所以我们现在对我们现在周遭发生的这些事情，如果我们花那么多的精神在管旁边周遭的事情的话，其实是没有办法能够解决的问题。所以最重要的是，我们从我们个人的灵性修持做起。那在我们马家呢，我们的上司呢，提供我们很多非常实际的修理方法，甚至提出有关于社会的这些道德或者是教育这些理论哲学。那也要靠我们灵性修持上面，因为我们进步了，我们会慢慢的，我们大家很努力的去做的话，我们就会找到刚刚他给我们这么大的愿景，可是每一个实际的步骤该怎么做，我们也会慢慢的连接在一起，然后去把它实践，让我们的社会就会更好。
And if I can have one last word before you ask. Thank you. Building on what Dada and Dada both said, it's great having people called Dada, Dada and Dada. Lack. This lack of the spiritual heart of our civilization is experienced in many ways, but when we think education, sustainability, it's a lack of trust. It is manifest as a lack of trust. A lack of trust in our children to learn, in our lack of trust in the future to be bountiful. This builds the anxiety that clouds our mind, that takes us back to Jai's question about all his friends with all these problems and problems and problems. It's like, do we lack positive solutions? How much good news is there in the world? There's ample good news. It's just not good news to sell. It doesn't sell TV stations, news script. It doesn't sell magazines and papers. The lack at the heart of it all is a lack of trust because we don't have our roots, as Dada said. Rootless, we float. We feel worried. Culture is supposed to help us feel secure. That's what culture does. It tells me, I'm me, you're you. But when our culture is deeply wounded, as it is today, it floats. And therefore, it's prone to all sorts of fears, all sorts of anxieties, and it's prone very much to a lack of a vision of the future. So the lack of trust, the lack of spirit, leads to a lack of imagination to see the future and build hope in the future. So it builds that lack.
那我想在我们结束之前，我想要再提出我个人的最后补充，刚刚所提的一些想法，就像刚刚讲的，因为我们失去我们灵性的连接，所以我们接着产生的就是我们对一切呢都失去信心。 信我们孩子可以好好的学习，因为我相信这个未来世界会更好。如果我们跟我们的年轻连接之后，那就不一样，就是因为我们对我们缺乏信心，所以我们就一直在为这个外在的这些世界所产生的这种大大小小的问题，被它给迷惑了，我们就不知道说我们的未来是什么，我们也没办法去想象我们的未来是什么。那可是事实上呢？难道这个世界上全部在发生不好的事情吗？大家说哦，又是经济问题，又是政治问题、社会问题，那是因为这些问题啊才会卖，报道才会报道，电视才会报道，新闻才会报道，所以我们看到的都是一些坏的、不好的消息。难道这个世界上没有在发生好的事情吗？有，非常非常的多，非常多好的事情在进行、在发生。可是我们因为都一直被这些不好的事情给吸引、给拉出去，所以我们以为这个世界非常的糟，不是这样的。如果一旦我们跟我们的灵性连接，我们有好的做法，我们知道怎么样，我们的未来愿景是什么的话，那整个我们的担忧，所谓的担忧就不见了。所以其实，在我们马家爸爸给我们很好的愿景，给我们很好的方法。
So to advertisement time. Tomorrow I want to talk about how to deal with that lack in the classroom in the afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon I will be dealing with this question of lack.
所以明天下午呢，我就会来讨论跟这个如何我们要来处理这些像在比如说像教室的危机啊这些问题。明天下午我的讲题，我就会跟这个问题是有关系的。我来讨论这个议题。
Can I show you some more images on some of the things?
那因为明天下午是个综合性的那个seminar探讨，他们几位讲者都会出席，然后他们会再更深入的来告诉大家说，我们如何在这样的一个世界，我们要如何去自处，如何跟这个世界和平相处，跟我们自己和平相处。